Okay, we're here with Republican political correspondent Rob Rizzuto and political consultant. What is your name?
Tony Cignoli.
Tony
I'm that
Cignoli.
guy.
That guy, Tony Cignoli.
It's been a long day around here.
Yeah, right. It's been a long night. Believe me. There's been some real cliffhangers that we'll get to later when we find out how they did. But what we really want to talk about now is how the casino went, and the latest results from that came over with about 90% of the vote in is a 60-40 margin, the 20% margin for the casinos, which
Pretty significant.
Pretty significant.
Very much so, yeah.
And in fact, the Western New England poll by Tim Versalotti pretty much nailed it. He had 22% with a 3% margin.
He definitely hit it. I think I owe him a fribble on that one. I think that was the deal. Yeah, he called it. Yeah.
But what does that mean? And you were there tonight, Rob. What was it like in the hall?
Well, the MGM victory party, what it turned out to be, it was wild enthusiasm. You had all the big executives, Bill Hornbuckle, Jim Murren, the heavy hitters in the company were all in all day. They were watching this one.
Yeah.
They didn't take the vote for granted. I was at the MGM Springfield office earlier, and they had dozens of people in there canvassing. They were doing phone banking, then they had people out in the neighborhoods, bilingual, printed materials. They were hitting it hard, and they had some of the SEIU folks that were really hitting the ground hard to get Elizabeth Warren elected in 2012, the people that are known for getting out the vote.
Very well said.
They were there, and they made it happen,
What do you make of it on, several of the suburbs, which many people thought were anti-casino? When you look at the votes, they came in favor of the casino, including West Springfield.
That was intriguing, especially when you take a look at Holyoke, which had been anti-casino, supposedly, West Springfield anti-casino, and yet these votes for a casino in Springfield, for a casino in Massachusetts, were overwhelming. As you look around, these are really some significant numbers. The Springfield story resonated. Those early ads that came out of Springfield from the Coalition for Jobs, across the Commonwealth. At first I thought, wow, will that sell out in Everett and Boston and other places? It certainly did. It led the charge. But when you look at some of these local votes in the suburbs, it is stunning to see that kind of affirmation for Springfield, for MGM, for casino.
Yeah, I think it was a glowing endorsement from some of the surrounding communities. Definitely unexpected.
Right.
When I started seeing the town-by-town breakdown, I'm not going to lie, when I saw West Springfield, I was shocked.
There you go.
Yeah.
And crushed Hard Rock out of there.
Holyoke voted in favor of the casinos by a wide margin, too.
Yeah.
Where that was a real contentious thing.
Yeah.
You might know something about that.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt, I felt that one.
Yeah.
But you're right, though, too, because you have flesh and blood players coming out against casino, like Mayor Morse, like Mayor Narkowitz and whatnot,
Right.
and it didn't make that difference.
Patrick Leahy, who was running for Senate, came out against the casino.
Yeah.
I did notice that of all the places that I've checked so far tonight, Northampton so far seems to be the only one that I saw that voted against the casino by a fairly wide margin. I think about 7,000 votes to 4,000 votes.
Yeah.
So and they were worried that the casinos were going to affect their restaurant and entertainment business.
Absolutely. There's a parochial interest there, without a doubt. They were worried about that impact, so that I think brought some people out worried about the pocketbook.
Self-preservation kind of drew them out in favor of the ballot question.
So now it's going to be full speed ahead. Did they talk about when they're going to start building?
They didn't get into it tonight, but if based on previous conversations with MGM Springfield President Mike Mathis, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some activity down there probably by the middle of next week.
Wow.
They had never stopped their planning. They never stopped their permitting. They kept everything going as if the project was going to happen. And that if it didn't, they would have crossed that bridge. But they didn't just stop getting ready. They kept the whole thing moving. So when this day came, if it came, they're ready just to keep going. And so I think they talked about a build time of 2.5 years, right around there, and then doors open. I'd expect to see movement down there pretty quick. I think that 3 months from now, we'll all be saying, I can't believe how fast this project's moving ahead.
I noticed a picture on MassLive of a fairly happy Mayor Sarno.
The mayor was, he was elated.
He's having a good year between Chang Chung and this and everything else. Things are going in Dominic's direction. Without a
Yeah,
doubt.
I mean, if you hear, one of his
Springfield's direction.
it really is. And one of his recent stump speeches is about the city's resilience. He hits this note about everything the city's been through, from natural disasters to man-made disasters, to terrible economy, high unemployment, and it's like things are really starting to turn the corner. And he's been kind of championing this in all his recent stump speeches. And tonight he really took it to the next level. And with the MGM being solidified, a guarantee of multiple thousands of jobs coming in the next couple of years. It's
Well, we're talking about an $800 million project, and that's what Springfield was hoping for, and they can breathe a sigh of relief that it's coming their way.
And there's an impetus for MGM to move fast too. In the casino law, it says at the time you get your license, you've got to pay that 85 million non-refundable dollars to the Commonwealth as a surety that you're going to go forward. They had it delayed because of this vote, but I think that 85 million, if I'm understanding correctly, flows soon to the Commonwealth. So already there's a positive impact.
Yeah,
as does Steve Wynn's and everybody else's, I think.
Yeah. I know with the MGM license specifically, the Gaming Commission gave them that provisional. They approved them, but if the vote went the way it did today, tomorrow they get the license. So somebody tonight's writing that $85 million check. I know it's one of those jumbo ones like you win the lottery, but that money's going to be changing hands this week, I expect.
Great. Well, thank you very much.